This is Optimal Finance Daily, episode 1107, Efficiency is the Highest Form of Beauty, Part 1, by Mr. Money Mustache of MrMoneyMustache.com. And I'm Dan, I'm your host, and this is where I read to you from some of the best blogs on personal finance, and I do that every single day, including weekends and holidays. And we actually have 5 shows where we narrate blogs to you in audio form. They all cover different topics, so you can search for Optimal Living Daily wherever you're hearing this to find all 5 of our podcasts. For now, let's get right to it as we optimize your life. Efficiency is the Highest Form of Beauty, Part 1, by Mr. Money Mustache of MrMoneyMustache.com. This year, I've been spending a lot more time at the local elementary school, as our boy has rejoined his friends in 5th grade after 2 years of homeschooling. Through the daily bike rides to and from school and my weekly gig as a volunteer math engineering teacher for a small group of boisterous advanced learners, I get to meet a lot more new people from the community than I had in the preceding 2 years. As a not all that normal person, it is always a delicate challenge to spark up casual relationships with brand new people. For one thing, there's the whole issue of being 11 years into semi-retirement, which makes any discussion of work schedules, mortgages, and debt, or even overall goals in life, a challenge. You either make up a superficial cover story, or you open up a huge can of worms that will take an hour to explain. Unless you're lucky enough to be conversing with another highly abnormal person, this conversation can quickly turn to a blank stare. The normal people don't quite understand the idea of deliberately working hard even if you don't have to, or not buying stuff even when you can afford to buy it. When you get the blank stare, it's time for a quick, cheery wrap-up with a reference to the weather or how great the school staff is this year. So the superficial story usually wins. Well, these days I'm mostly a dad and I do some carpentry while he's in school. But an even bigger disconnect comes during my travels around town. Strangers don't seem to know quite what to make of the just slightly imposing flannel shirt man in his 40s who's always zooming around on a bike at the highest speed his legs can manage at any given moment. Usually with a slightly overstuffed backpack that might be filled with cucumbers, 10 packs of electrical outlets, beer, or even smooth rocks from the creek for use in ornamental gardens. On special occasions, maybe even a trailer with some lumber. Is he homeless? A hooligan? He's definitely not as well off as me, as I hold my mobile phone like a tray in one hand and use the other to operate the steering wheel of my GMC Envoy. At Home Depot, I sometimes slip up and start discussing my unorthodox plans for the materials I'm buying. An underground conduit to run some solar-heated water between the main house and some external collector, or an off-grid charger for an electric car, because nobody makes these things cost-effectively on the real market and they should be doing it. But that blank stare comes back to remind you that this is not the place to open up such a can of ideas. Personally, I enjoy this little disconnect between me and most people. There are enough friends around here, and mustachians out there, for all of us to find plenty of community as well as plenty of time to dabble in our own little science labs. But what I don't enjoy is how the rest of our society is missing the beauty of this endeavor. It bugs me to see people standing on the airport escalators when they could be sprinting up the adjacent stairs with a suitcase in each hand. I'm annoyed that people still trundle around in cars they can't afford, wasting fuel and asphalt that wrecks all of our living spaces just because they can't be bothered to swing their leg over a 25-pound aluminum sculpture with wheels that makes most of our fattening $20 trillion urban infrastructure unnecessary. Then they fight with lobbying groups and misinformation if anybody dares to tell them there's a better way. It also bugs me that high spending is still considered a desirable thing, and that living on less money is assumed to come with a reduction in happiness. When really, measuring your life by spending level is like judging a town by the size of its parking lots. Is your goal to maximize the amount of asphalt and SUVs you can spread out across the land, or would you rather just get into that grocery store so you can get yourself some nice stuff for dinner? Spending is a skill. A mustachian can buy the same lifestyle with $25,000 that might cost a consumer sucka $100,000 per year. If you can cultivate this skill, the art of the 75% reduction at any income level, you can go from a lifetime of being in debt to being rich enough to retire in less than 10 years. Similarly, a company that can operate with this level of skill will quickly become the most successful company in history, and a similarly efficient government would find the world sitting peacefully in its palm. The reason I pursue and love the idea of finding new ways to live life in an industrialized world is the same reason I love music and art and writing and all of the beautiful, advanced, inspiring things that people do. It's because efficiency is beauty. Think about it. What is it that has allowed humans, despite our soft and weak bodies, dull noses and eyes, inability to swim or fly, and mostly hairless skin that is only really comfortable unprotected in the tropics? Tigers, owls, and sharks would mock us ceaselessly if they were smart enough to open Twitter accounts. But of course they cannot, because we are the only ones with these kick brains that have allowed us to overcome all obstacles to take over this entire planet, with more planets soon to come. This domination has been entirely the fruit of our efficiency. I mean, sure, monkeys will eke out straight sticks and use them as tools to harvest bugs from a nest, but early humans sought out even more specialized sticks and arranged them into better shelters, weapons, and animal traps. We caught animals and used every part for ingenious purposes to create even more advanced tools, weapons, and methods of preserving information. On and on through the generations, our survival and advancements have been won only as we became more efficient with our resources. Even our ability to create art, music, literature, and the social structures like laws and governments that allowed us to stop killing each other so often was only made possible by buying ourselves free time, by efficiently securing food, which gave us time to play at night. This uncontroversial history lesson could have come straight out of the pages of the Duh Journal or Obvious magazine, but yet the idea of efficiency has been consistently ignored in our more recent society, and this is the source of most of our current problems. To be continued. You just listened to part 1 of the post titled "Efficiency is the Highest Form of Beauty" by Mr. Money Mustache of MrMoneyMustache.com. And I will finish the rest of this post for you tomorrow, but that's it for today. Hope you have a great rest of your day and a great weekend if you're listening in real time. And I'll see you back here for the Sunday show tomorrow, where we're going to finish up this post and where your optimal life awaits.